if you are in the process of applying for jobs and you're fixing up your LinkedIn, you uploaded your resume to LinkedIn where recruiters can see it, and you're maybe sending out your resume on platforms where recruiters and hiring managers are going to be able to pull your resume and see if your skills are a match for the position that they have. You're going to see that sometimes you have people reach out to you with, with these offers, right? Hey, we have a job here. One of our clients has an opportunity for a financial analyst, and it's for 5 months, and here's the hourly pay and things like that. So that's going to be an offer that's coming from a temp agency where it creates a contract type of work, right? So this happens a lot in finance. I get a lot of those every day. So that's where you have your full-time position as well as your contract position. So the full-time position is going to be a regular 9 to 5 job where you have maybe a fixed salary or base salary, and you might have other things like, bonuses and stuff like that. But it's usually like you have a full-time position, right? It's kind of like permanent unless you get fired. And then you have your contract work, which is going to be project-based, or maybe there's a certain time frame, right? It's for 6 months, it's for 12 months, it's for 2 years. So that's what I want to talk about in this video, because a lot of graduating finance majors or students are going to be getting these offers, which is how I got some of my internships. It was contract work for the summer, right? They needed a financial analyst assistant for the summer, and I turned that into an internship. So here are some of the differences and some of the things you have to look at if you're considering the both, right? Because if you're applying for a lot of jobs, you're going to get both offers, and sometimes it's hard to kind of like navigate between those options. So the first one is going to be that understanding that contract work is not permanent work. Okay, sometimes it might lead to permanent work, but there's going to be a time frame, right? So most of it might be for 6 months, most of it might be for a year, and most recruiters will say that after you finish the contract, they might consider hiring you as a full-time employee. So you can use this as kind of like a way to get into a full-time position. Now you also have your full-time position, which is kind of like fixed, right? It's kind of like permanent unless you get fired, like I said before. But those are the two main differences, right? So you have to understand that if you're signing a contract to work for a certain client or company, there's going to be a time limit or project time frame. When this project is over, then your position is over. And one of the things you might want to ask if you're dealing with those temp agencies is to ask that, is there a chance that they might hire me after this contract is over, right? And one of the major differences is that if you're working in a full-time position or permanent position, you are going to have benefits, right? Insurance, health insurance, vision, dental, and things like that. Sometimes when you're working as a contractor, you are working, on an hourly basis, and you might not have access to, to insurance or benefits. It's also important to note that some temp agencies actually have benefits that temp employees can pay for. Now, my next point is going to be job security. So if you are someone that's really focused on having, job security, contract work is not going to be for you, right? You kind of want to go full time, because contract work, like I said before, is going to be a limited time frame, even though there is a chance that they might hire you full time. But if you just want a peace of mind of, hey, I have job security, you might not want to do contract work. Now, the next one is going to be flexibility. So this is something that I kind of like contract work for. This is something that I even realized when I was working in Big Four consulting. I worked at EY for about a year. And one of the things is flexibility. So if you are a contractor, you are going to have more flexibility when it comes to work arrangements, which means, do you want to work in the office, or do you want to work from home or remotely? Or you're also going to have the flexibility to set your own hours. Hey, you only work 5 hours a day, because you are going to be getting paid hourly anyways, or maybe per project. Now, if you are a full-time employee, you kind of like have a schedule, right? If you're working that 9 to 5, it might be 8 to 4, but you are going to have a set schedule that you have to follow. Now, my next point is going to be compensation. So if you are working as a contractor, it's important to know that you are going to be paid hourly, right? So it might be $20 an hour, 30, 40, 50, whatever it may be. It's going to be an hourly wage. Sometimes you are going to find some project-based rates, right? You get paid per project, right? If you are, if they put a dollar amount to a project that you're going to be working on, there might just be a rate for the project. Now, if you are working as a full-time employee, your base salary is usually fixed at a certain amount, and then you can go up from there with other things that they add on to it. My last point is going to be advancing in your career. So if you are someone someone who needs a structured ladder to climb, as you move up the corporate ladder, contract work might not be for you, because if you are in a full-time position, you kind of like have a path to follow, right? You might start off as an associate, you move up to analyst, you move up to senior analyst, then you move up to manager, or whatever the ladder may be. You have a structured ladder to climb. Now, if you are doing contract work, that might be really good for gaining a lot of experience. When I worked in Big Four consulting, we're going from bank to bank to bank to bank, and this allowed me to be exposed to a lot of banks and how they operate, and certain things that were different. If I'm working on this bank, it's going to be different from this one, different from that one, but I'm learning all those things. So it's good for gaining a lot of work experience, or a lot of on-the-job experience, or a lot of industry experience. But when it comes to moving up, you're not really moving up a ladder, right? You're just going to be moving horizontally on a flat line. So if you are someone that needs a structured environment, which I think is probably the best option for the long run, where you are going to have opportunities for promotions, raises, and also professional development, right? Because you are kind of like growing with a specific company, or you might move from a different company, but you are moving up instead of moving horizontally. So that is pretty much it when it comes to contract work versus full-time work, especially when it comes to finance. There's a lot of those offers that you're going to be getting when you start applying to finance positions, and I think you should know some of the things to consider, and these are some of the things that I had. There's obviously more. Let me know in the comment section below if you come up with anything else, but I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.